Hi, my name is Steven and welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be talking to you about my top 5 most difficult challenges in my life and how I'm working through them. As I'm working through my successes and failures in life, I'm constantly reminded about the challenges that I'm still facing in life. These are holdovers from my past that's proven very difficult to root out and resolve. However, I do believe that how we respond to challenges in our lives show us who we truly are, and it's a true testament to our character in the face of adversity. For me, these issues stem from my childhood upbringing and my personal predispositions in life. Despite years of focusing on personal growth and development, these issues in my life still exist to this day. And it's a constant reminder for me that my journey into personal growth and development is never ending, and that it's not always linear growth. Sometimes you do plateau and take a while before you get to that next phase. Talking about these personal issues can be very difficult, but I know that getting them out in the open, I can resolve them much quicker, because I can refocus my energy and intensity and get to the root of why I'm doing it in the first place. And by sharing my experiences of these difficult challenges in my life, hopefully I'll be able to guide others as well going through something similar. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about my background, my top 5 challenges in life, and my general thoughts. Before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, comment, share with your friends, hit that notification bell if you like this content. And let's go! Once I get into these issues in my life, you'll know why I haven't been able to resolve them yet. They all have to do with my core personality traits and how I was raised as a child. And these could be traced down to the lack of skills and coping mechanisms that I didn't develop as a child. And without those skills and a guide to help me, these core challenges in my life became a part of me. This meant that the longer I had to deal with these challenges, the more it became a part of me. Now in my mid-30s, I'm dealing with these problems much better than I did in my childhood, but they're still there. At the end of the day, I don't think these challenges will go away completely at the end of my life, but they're certainly a lot better than they were. It then becomes a game of identifying it, knowing that I'm susceptible to it, and then doing something about it. So here are my top 5 difficult challenges in my life. Number 1, be okay with loss. From losing favorite forks to friends in life, I hate the idea of loss. I never feel particularly good with loss, and it takes me forever to get over it. I think I had this feeling of dread ever since I was a kid, and I would lose something of special importance to me. I would feel incredibly bad, but I didn't know why I felt this way. Even things that are cheap and could be easily replaced, I felt bad about losing it. I just had a stronger emotional attachment to things in my life during that time. I'm not sure ultimately where I got this from, but I'm pretty sure it was from my parents. They were very much in a scarcity mindset and valued things very differently than other people. And they didn't have a lot of money or resources while I was a child. Nowadays, I'm much better dealing with loss, but things that I still have strong emotional attachment with still bug me from time to time. It's much more manageable and I don't dwell on it as often as I once did. But things that have sentimental value to me or long-term friendships, they still bug me to no end. But small and easily replaceable things I can rationalize and easily replace so they don't bother me as much. But overall, this feeling of dread still persists in my life whenever I lose something of value. But at least for the smaller things in my life, I'm more easily able to forget about it and move on with my life. Number 2, patience with life. I don't have great patience with the things that are occurring in my life. I want them to be done as efficiently as humanly possible. Things like waiting in line or jumping through administrative hoops bother me to no end. This overall has an effect on me by being more upset with the mundane things in life. Stuff that always require a great deal of patience, I always find myself getting to anger much more quickly. This challenge in my life could be traced back to my teenage years when I was always looking for something new and exciting to do. I wanted my life to be fast and exciting and always something new to do. And as I started to become successful with accomplishing the things that I want in life, I realized that other things slowed me down, people and administrative issues. And my patience with others and those processes lessened over time. This is still something that I'm working on in my life even to this day. I get easily upset over things that require just a bit of patience from me, although I will say it's much better than when I had it in my early 20s. I think ultimately age and experience has helped me to become more calm during my times of impatience. And as I age, it's easier for me to understand the why of why things can't be efficient and fast as humanly possible. It's not something that I'll completely accept, but at least I'll be able to manage that portion of my life. Number 3, accepting others. Since my early 20s, I've been challenged to accept others for who they are. I really wanted others to be more like me or highlight the differences between me and them. And I always had this problem of comparison with me and others in my life. This can be in the form of me criticizing people that I don't even know, or quickly jumping to conclusions about people in my life. I think ultimately it comes down to me wanting to see growth and personal development in others. And it drives me to perhaps be less accepting of other people that I come across. Because I think I can see the potential of others that just aren't rising to them. I definitely didn't have this as a child, and I only started to become less accepting of others in my early 20s when I started on my personal growth and development journey. And I realized what a boon it was for me, and I wanted others to go through that same experience. This was, in practice, the opposite of accepting others as they are. So nowadays, I really try to look from other people's perspective and be accepting wherever I can. Try to understand other people's life circumstances before I critique others. Or if I can try to see to just accept them for who they are. It is very hard to know that you for a fact can change yourself if you choose to do it. And in the end, that knowledge to be better than who you were drives me to this day. Ultimately, that is also the reason why I created this YouTube channel in the first place. I think that the long-term goal for me is to try to be as accepting as I can of other people. I don't think I'll be truly able to get over this, but it'll be a vast improvement than what I have now. Number 4, being different. There is a certain sense of belief that I operate differently from other people, and I've had that belief since I was a child. I think that the need to push myself constantly, talk about my struggles, and get out of my uncomfortable zone makes me a little bit different. And I have struggled to find people like me all throughout my life. This was a challenge for me because it was very hard for me to fit in with social groups throughout my life. I, for the most part, have just accepted this difference in my life and choose to just live with it. There are some days that I wish I was more normal and wasn't as different as others just to fit in. But fortunately for me, that was more impactful when I was at school rather than now as an adult. Nobody cares how different you are as an adult. You just live your life the way you want to. I think that this really came from how I was raised as a child and a lack of guidance from my parents. This wasn't necessarily a bad thing because I can truly be comfortable with my own self. But I definitely was more insulated from other social groups than I would like to, especially during school. It really bothered me as a teen and into my college years. But now as an adult, I'm much more appreciative of the differences that I have from others. So being different now was a greater challenge than it once was in my life. But still, this challenge does impact me because sometimes I do want more social groups in my life. And number 5, dealing with loneliness. Lastly, growing up differently is a recipe for growing up lonelier. While having a great story as an adult might be great, getting to that adulthood stage wasn't. I just didn't have an easy time relating to other kids as a child, and it affected me developmentally. And because of my differences or lack of resources, I just didn't talk the same lingo or had the same toys as other kids. Because in the 90s, I didn't have the latest Pogs, Color Game Boy, or yo-yos at the time. And because of that, I was excluded from a lot of social groups that played those activities. I sometimes wish my parents had the money to buy me those things just so that I can fit in with the other kids. And this lack of connection lasted throughout my childhood because I didn't gain the social skill sets needed as a kid, and it only multiplied the problem since then. I only was able to change that loneliness once I had my own pool of money to play from, so that I finally had the power to buy or do things with other people of my age. Nowadays, I deal with cycles of fulfillment in my life and loneliness. Even though I have a family and are surrounded by people constantly, I still feel that loneliness from my childhood from time to time. And I think in the end, it's very hard to free yourself from loneliness after experiencing it for such a long period of time in your childhood. But at least the loneliness that I choose to go through now is of my own choosing and not from my parents. Check out my previous video if you want to learn how I used loneliness to my advantage in life. It was a way that I used loneliness to ultimately find inner peace with myself. So here are my general thoughts of the challenges in my life. I think that the best way to tackle some of these deep-rooted problems in your life is just to acknowledge that they exist in the first place, and that they're impacting your life in a very profound and possibly negative manner. From the little ways that you interact with people to how you deal with major adversity in your life, your challenges impact who you are. And I really didn't know about the challenges occurring in my life until I started my journey into personal growth and development. I realized that throughout my life, I had the same issues cropping up over and over again. And these difficult challenges in my life were ultimately impacting me becoming a better person. Acceptance and commitment to fixing the issue was my ultimate solution for me, or at least mitigate some of the difficult challenges in my life. As I continue to struggle with the difficulties in my life, I'm humbled by the process and the patience required to overcome it. It requires a lot of work and commitment to try to better yourself with the challenges in your life. But I believe that I'm up to the challenge and will commit myself to working towards these difficult challenges in my life for the long term. So those were my top 5 difficult challenges in my life. Each of these challenges have presented unique issues throughout my life that I haven't been able to resolve just quite yet. And I have to continuously work at it so it doesn't become a bigger problem in my life. We have difficult challenges throughout our lives, and how we react to them shows us who we really are. If we see a challenge, acknowledge them, and face them, we're going to work to better ourselves in the future and take more control and destiny within our own hands. If we don't rise up to the challenges in our lives, we may be doomed to repeat the past problems within our lives and ultimately lower the standard of living throughout the rest of our lives. I wanted to get my challenges out in the world so I can take stock of where I was, where I am, and where I ultimately want to go with my difficult challenges. And this gives me a clearer picture of what I still need to do to better myself for the future. So I hope you're able to take away something from my experience and hopefully reflect on your challenges in life as well. So thank you for watching. Please leave a comment down below on what kind of difficult challenges have you had in your life and what was your takeaway from them. And I'll see you next time.